Late night video, but I got some things to talk about. And Tua Tagovailoa sat down with the Palm Beach Post, and he said some interesting things. What is up, Finn fans? Recording this at about 11 o'clock. I'm going to edit it, upload it, because I have so many videos for you guys this week before training camp starts that I have to get them going. So I had I got some news from today that I was like, I need to talk about it and not edit it and then upload it for tomorrow. They got to know what I'm talking about now. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about all that good stuff now. So I got some updates, some roster moves that happened. We're going to talk about two. I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. But first, real quick, I got to shout out a new patron and David Craig Gafford. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. Again, if you'd like to join the Patreon, linked in the description. And if you'd like to become a member, it is the join button next to the subscribe button. Again, to the members, you guys get some really cool perks when it comes to the live streams that are going to start when preseason comes. So it's going to be real fun. So let's jump into some kind of roster moves, Miami Dolphin news. So the roster moves, the Dolphins say we have placed cornerback Ethan Bonner on the active non-football injury list and placed linebacker Zeke Vanderberg on injured reserve. So it seems like Zeke Vanderberg is done for the year, and it seems like Ethan Bonner, what I'm hearing is it's like week-to-week type of situation. But if you guys remember what I said earlier today's video with the rookies reporting, a lot of what happens now is they went through the physicals and, what were you doing for the past month and a half, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, Zeke Vanderberg got injured through his time off kind of training on his own, so he's going to injury reserve, which does clear up a roster spot. 2 roster spots, I think, with Ethan Bonner. We'll see how that all pans out. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to, speculate anything like that because people are already getting mad at me for speculating and wanting things. But, yeah, so far this is the only roster move with the rookies reporting is Ethan Bonner and Zeke Vanderberg. One being put on the non-football injury list, and the other being put on IR. So with that being said, now let's go to the article. It's from Joe Shad. And so essentially Tua surprised, a high school with some equipment. He was there. He, talked to them. I'll read it to you real quick. Tua Tagovailoa stood before the Miami Edison football team on Tuesday afternoon, surprising the school and its athletes with $65,000 in equipment and uniforms. Tua said, the hardest thing is to be out here when everyone else isn't, to do the hard grind work, to do things it takes to be great, dream big, work on your dream. Tua is representing Gatorade and its equity in sports, which is committed to reducing the barriers to play. On Tuesday, Tua even played quarterback for a handful of out-of-pad team drills, which is pretty cool. I actually didn't know that, and I think that's really cool. Tua said, listen to the people that matter. Your grandparents, your parents, your uncles, your aunts, your big brothers, big sisters. Do something big for your family. After the practice, Tua spent one-on-one time with the Palm Beach Post, and here is the conversation. And this is what I wanted to talk about because he says some interesting things in this conversation. So they asked him, your home run at the Xavier Howard softball game gave me a lot of social media views. Tua said, it was good. I didn't know how to hit a softball. Did I know how to hit a softball? No. Did I know how to swing a bat? No. I kind of got lucky. Tua, how do you not know how to swing a bat, Tua? Tua, come on. Did you get to do anything for the summer in terms of like trips going back, going to the beach or Hawaii? He said this summer, not too much, but we went to Jason Sanders' wedding in California, so that was really nice. Oh, it's pretty cool. He probably was training all summer. So everyone's talking about the tattoo sleeve on your arm. Can you explain what it means and exactly how big it is? No one knows that I really have it, laughing. It's just hearsay off of, I guess, a picture. Because if you didn't notice, like, he was wearing like a short sleeve, and you kind of saw some of the sleeve. He says, so I guess I should speak more on it when the reveal comes. Supposedly, from what I'm hearing, is he talked about that come training camp, he's not going to be wearing a hoodie under his jersey and all that stuff, because he probably knows and he probably sees all the ridiculousness that is coming with his physique and all that stuff, and people calling him fat and all. So he probably like, all right, cool, I'm not going to show you and whatever. And I bet you he's ripped. Who cares? So Tyreek Hill said, I will break 2,000 yards. You think he can? You think he will? And Tua says, I think he can. And real quick, I'll touch upon that, right? I was going to make a video on it. I still might, but Tyreek Hill said he's going to break 2,000 yards. He talked about the Dolphins being, going to the Super Bowl. Talked about the fact that, they're in the second year of the same offense, so Tua's going to have more of a grasp. And I don't see it as a bad thing. Some people are getting their panties in a twist that Tyreek Hill says he wants to break 2,000 yards, and oh my God, then they're going to force the ball to him, and what about everyone else, and blah, 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 blah. I want my players to be thriving for greatness. I want my players to be setting high goals and standards. So for Tyreek Hill to say, I want to break 2,000 yards, good. Like, what? Would you prefer him to say, it'd be nice to get another 1,000 yards? I want him to have high goals and standards. So I don't understand why people are getting so upset about that. We're looking forward to training camp weeks away. What are some personal goals that you have? He said, we'll try to get everyone where we've been to as an offense. This offseason has been really good. I think with the guys, there's been a lot of guys that have stayed back down here who haven't really taken trips or big, vacations. He says a lot of guys have stayed back, and we've got to get together a lot this offseason. I'm ecstatic about that, because he essentially is saying, instead of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Braxton Berrios, Robbie Chosen, Cedric, all of these guys on the offense, instead of them going on these vacations, they stayed. And we saw video and we saw pictures of them working out. He stayed with them, and they continue to build on this offense, which is fantastic. When we watched in the spring, some guys who kind of stood out to us were Eric Izukoma. It looks like he's improved. Devon Achane looks like he got potential. And Robbie Chosen kind of impressed. Tua said, Achane has been very impressive through the first OTAs that we had. I think when you look at practice that we've had, I mean, he's shown some pretty cool bursts of speed. His hands understanding the plays. He's done really good job with that. And then with Chosen and Eric, I mean, they've been working hard. They've been continuing to work hard. They've been out there for all the throwing sessions that I've had, and they continue to work. So I'm excited to work with them. They asked him, what do you think you have to prove to the organization that you are a long-term quarterback? Answer. He says, I think I've got to do what I've been doing this past year outside of injuries. He says, just the way I play football, play my style of football. But I think the things that have hurt me have been just the injuries. And so, I've been working really hard to, hopefully elongate myself, throughout to withstand the season. And so, we'll see how that plays out, and God willing, I can make it throughout the entire season, and we can win a playoff game, we can win a Super Bowl, and all that good stuff. He understands, right? Because he was playing really good, and then he got hurt, and then he was playing really good, and then he kind of had that slump, and then he started playing good again, and then he got hurt. That roller coaster, and he understands he's got to stay healthy. We need him on the field. Him on the field, the offense is better. Him on the field, the playmakers get better. He understands that, and he's doing his thing like a chicken wing. They ask him, how legit are the Dolphins as an AFC contender? Because there are so many good quarterbacks and so many good teams in the AFC. What do you think about what you've got to work with? He says, I think we're definitely legit contenders. There's no doubt with the guys we have on the defensive side of the ball, with the guys we have on the offensive side of the ball. And now with this being the first time in offense, we got to come back understanding the plays already, kind of molded into the offense a little more. I think, he says, I think, and then he says, I think it can be very, very scary, pretty dangerous. And for the first time in this man's football career, he's had the same offense for 2 seasons. And not only that, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, the tight ends, the offensive line, the running backs, all of these guys have now been in the same offense with the same head coach, with the same offensive coordinator, back-to-back years. So the offense should be well ahead of where it was last year. And the last year was 4th ranked, mostly in passing. But still, so like him and Tyreek are saying, it's going to be pretty dangerous. It occurred to me that some of the youngsters out there that you were throwing to were probably as young as 14. But if you could think back to your 14-year-old self, what would be one thing you would say to him? I would probably say I was overthinking it with girls. That's a funny one. Have you seen the NFL show Quarterback? I'm really enjoying it. It has Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins and Marcus Mariota to it added, which I think is funny. I would like to see him in it. I'd like to see a little behind the scenes breakdown of it. I haven't watched it yet. I want to watch it, but I want to see him in it. The Post said, I sat down to have lunch with Marcus Mariota when he was at Oregon, and his coach was giving him books on how to be a better leader and how to be more vocal. And the Marcus that I saw on TV is much more mature and, of course, different. He's much older. It seems like a total different guy. I was really proud to see how far he has come. He got his family now, in effect, to have kids during the season, and even Kirk Cousins, you get to see a glimpse behind the curtain, and you kind of feel like you understand him a little bit more. I guess my last question would be, what would be one thing that you wish a lot of folks knew and understood a little bit more about you? Tua says, I would say that I am a pretty private person. I think people somewhat understand that. So then he's not going to want to be on the show. But I really, really do like my privacy. You know, there's a lot of moments where I wish I could just be normal, where I could just, do things that I would normally have done in high school or growing up. It's the best when people treat you the way they treat you, knowing who you are, not because of who you are. But, just because that's who they are as a person. So I think, I'm just very to myself, like I'm very, keep everything, very tight knit. And then he says, did you see Messi went to Publix? He says, that's different now. That's different. I would like to think that he probably would want the same thing to be normal again, but that guy will never be normal again. Tua is a very to himself person, and some people take that as like a negative thing, and some people take that as a problem. He's to himself. Let him be to himself. Leave Tua alone. As long as he's winning and putting up crazy stats and points and whipping people's butts, it's all that matters to me. Outside of that, who cares if he's married? Who cares if he has a sleeve tattoo? Who cares, if he's has a kid? Who cares about his house? Who cares about any of that stuff? I care about him on the field. But comment below. Let me know what you think about what you heard about what Tua has to say. I thought some of the things he says was very interesting. What do you think about the 2 roster moves? Again, they're undrafted free agents, but one of them is going to IR. The other one is non-active. So that kind of does clear up at least one roster spot. For who? Could be a defensive tackle, could be a linebacker, could be offensive line help, could be anybody. And also, what did you think about what Tua had to say? And I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. And this comment comes from Bernard Simset. And he says, what's good? Comment of the day. Congratulations on your success. First off, thank you. It's because of you guys that this channel has any type of success. And me. It's because of you guys. I love you guys. But do you think we have any rookies or draft class from last year that will or can be starters? Eric, Tyndall. I don't know about Tyndall, if I'm being honest with you. I'm hearing the reason Tyndall didn't make the field last year is because he had a hard time understanding the defense. And we'll see if he can grasp this one. But I'm hearing that's his problem. His physicality and his speed and all that stuff isn't the problem. It's understanding the playbook. And if you're playing middle linebacker, who essentially is the quarterback of the defense, you need to understand the defensive playbook. But I think Eric Izukoma, I could see him being a starter. He's got it. He's just got to get on the field. And the hard thing about him getting on the field is there's a plethora of wide receivers that are, better than him right now. So I would say Eric Izukoma. Thank you for the comment. Again, if you want to be part of the comment of the day, like he did, leave comment of the day in there so I could search it. Bada bing, bada boom. You can be part of the comment of the day. I will see you guys tomorrow. So again, this is coming out late. You'll probably get it around like 11:20. I got to edit all this stuff now, then upload it. I will see you guys tomorrow. I have so many videos. There's a video reaction I want to do. We're going to look at what the NFL thinks of the offense now that's done. I want to start previewing training camp. There's so many videos I want to do. The vets arrive on the 25th, and then camp stuff probably starts around like the 27th, 28th. So I got about a week, and I got a lot of content I want to give you guys. So again, if you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, we're almost at 42,000. I think we're less than 200, almost less than 100. So if you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. FN's up.